Razan's teenage life transformed from an ordinary one to one filled with hatred and jealousy toward her sister, Noor, who was 2 years younger. Both girls lived with their mother, who worked as a French teacher at one of the city's schools. They attended the same school, which increased Razan's sense of inferiority, as she was constantly compared to her sister, Noor, in everything she did. Razan didn't like school and failed most of her subjects. Unlike her sister, Noor, who excelled academically and received certificates of appreciation from her teachers, who constantly praised her. This created intense jealousy in Razan, which led her to constantly harm her. She would steal her belongings and beat her whenever she saw her, in the schoolyard or at home. At the end of the school year, when the results were announced, Noor excelled and ranked first in school, while Razan failed 4 subjects. This prompted their mother to reward Noor by bringing her a valuable gift she had previously asked for. Razan felt jealous that she hadn't received a gift like her sister, and she told her best friend, who had always encouraged her, to harm her sister. As a result, her friend suggested that she take revenge by scaring her. Razan was surprised and asked, "How can I scare her?" Her friend replied, "I'll give you a piece of paper with demonic spells on it. All you have to do is knock on her room door, put it down, and run away. She'll think the jinn had placed it." Razan laughed and said, "What a great idea for revenge. I'll try it today." Razan began watching her sister and waiting for her to enter the room. When Noor entered her room for her usual nap, Razan came and placed the spell under the door, knocked, and ran away. Noor opened the door, thinking it was her mother who had knocked, when she looked and didn't find anyone. She tried to close it, but suddenly she saw a piece of paper lying on the floor. She picked it up and began reading it, but couldn't understand a thing. She went to her mother and asked if she had knocked on the door. She replied, "No, I didn't knock, dear. I'm busy preparing food for you. Go ask your sister." Noor went to ask her sister, and she answered gently, unlike her usual. "No, my beautiful sister. I haven't left my room in hours." As soon as Noor left, Razan called her friend, laughing, and told her that the plan was going well, and that she had succeeded in scaring her sister. Noor remained anxious about the source of this incomprehensible note. She was unable to sleep all night, wondering where it came from and what the words inside her meant. The next morning, her mother woke her 2 daughters to go to school, but Noor told her she didn't want to go because she hadn't slept all night. Her mother agreed, and Razan and she left alone. Noor remained asleep at home. When school ended, Razan and her mother returned home to see the fire brigade outside their house. Her mother began screaming and ran toward them to inquire about what was happening. Seeing her daughter emerge from the house as a charred corpse, her mother collapsed at the sight of her lost, beloved daughter, while Razan gaped at the realization that her sister was dead. She smiled faintly after realizing that she would receive all the attention, as she no longer had any competition. When the police arrived to investigate the incident, they discovered that the fire had broken out in Noor's room alone, without affecting any other part of the house. Amid this astonishment, they began collecting evidence, but found nothing to suggest why the fire had broken out in Noor's room, rather than any other room in the house. After extensive investigation, the case was closed due to a lack of sufficient evidence. Noor's mother was unable to live in the house after the accident, so she sold it and moved to another home. Throughout this period, she grieved over the loss of her daughter, who had died under mysterious circumstances. Meanwhile, Razan acted freely, feeling that she no longer had a rival. One night, Razan was alone in the new house when she suddenly heard a voice calling her name. She looked around in panic, but didn't see anyone. She thought she was imagining things and went to sleep. Suddenly, someone seemed to be holding her foot. She woke up, collapsed, and looked down at her foot, finding it covered in blood. She began screaming. Her mother came in and asked her, surprised, why she was screaming. She said, panicking, Look at that blood on my foot. I don't know who hurt me." The mother looked up and said, "What kind of blood are you talking about?" Razan looked and found no trace of blood. She began to swear to her mother that she had seen her foot covered in blood. Her mother laughed and said, "You must be hallucinating from being so sleepy. Go on, my daughter." She went out and closed the door. The following night, the girl began hearing screaming sounds and doors being knocked on. When she asked her mother about the source of these sounds, she replied that she hadn't heard anything like that. Razan continued to hear these sounds for several months, always telling her mother what she was hearing. Her mother decided to take her to a psychiatrist when they went to see him. The mother explained to him what her daughter was going through, explaining to him about the loss of her sister several months earlier. The doctor explained to her mother that what her daughter was hearing was a hallucination resulting from her intense grief over her sister, and gave her medication to calm her down. The next morning, Razan woke up and looked in the mirror. to find a written phrase. I am your sister's spirit, and I will haunt you wherever you go. Razan was very scared and ran out of the house, crossing the street without realizing it, not noticing the hearse that came speeding and ran her over. Razan screamed loudly after the blow, and before she died, she looked inside the vehicle and saw her sister, Noor, pale and laughing behind the wheel. If this story sent chills down your spine, don't forget to hit that like button. It helps more people discover these terrifying tales. And if you crave more real horror stories, make sure to subscribe and join our growing nightmare family before it's too late.